It's Lisa Davies, the Law of Attraction Masterclass. So I'm just responding to a question, or a point actually, that was in the Facebook group. So I'm just going to go over so I can kind of say it verbatim. So I said, who's feeling good today, who isn't, and what can we help you with? And we got one of the answers being, it's gloomy and glum today where I live. Still doing my errands and planning my son's graduation party for Sunday. So that's really interesting because there's something really good in there. You know, there's planning son's graduation party is at the end, but she starts off with it's gloomy and glum. So information, you can tell where her vibration is. This is from Angela. You can tell where Angela, we can tell where your vibration is because you're talking about gloomy and glum. You see, you're talking, I take it that you're talking about the weather, okay, but the weather doesn't have to be gloomy and glum, okay. When there are grey clouds, that doesn't necessarily mean that, and I'll reframe it for you. So I love grey clouds, and people have a thing about rain, and I always look at rain and I'm like, and we're here in the UK, and we've got this thing in the UK where we always talk about the weather, and generally speaking as a culture we complain about the weather, which typically means we don't get the weather that we want, because that's law of attraction. We don't get the weather that we want on the days that we want it, so we won't get it for weddings and we won't get it for parties, and it'll rain out, because that's the vibration that we're sending out. But there's enough good weather to go around for those kind of days. I look at rain in a completely different way. I have really positive experiences about rain. I loved the feeling of being soaking through in the rain. I've had a really passionate kiss in the pouring rain that was really magnetic, so maybe that's one of the reasons why I have really positive experience about rain. But I look at rain in another way as well, and you know, without rain, what would our earth be like? What kind of soil would we have? What kind of food would we grow? And so I come from a place of appreciation when it comes to rain. I think about, you know, the cycle of water and how important that is to our life. So that's a really good way to shift, that, you know, recognizing, and I do it in the moment, you know, when it's raining, I'm like, wow, it's feeding the earth, that's feeding our vegetables, that's feeding our food, that feeds our animals, that feeds us. It enables us to have water that flows through our taps. Ultimately we need water in the system to be able to do that. So I really appreciate stuff like that. But some people go, well, it's not raining and it's really gloomy, and I just think art is a really good place to start with something like this, okay? How many art pictures have you seen with like stormy clouds and atmosphere? And that's what I get. I'm getting shivers over me now when I see grey clouds. I'm like, wow, that's atmosphere. That's really atmospheric, and for me it represents high energy, seriously high energy. The other thing I find really interesting with grey clouds is I like to think of it as all the negative stuff, all kind of souped up's not really a word, but souped up into like one cloud, like that's all the negative stuff. And you know, with these clouds and with storms, that the wind comes along and it blows it away. And there's some phrases that can't quite come to mind at the moment. I think it's something like a good storm always blows the cobwebs away, and I find it really refreshing when there's been a storm. If there's been like a thunderstorm and you come out the next day, there's this amazing smell of the grass and everything feels clear, feels really like there's a space to create something. So I see the weather in a really positive light, and you can use it the way you want to use it. So when it's sunny, you know, that makes you feel good, and you can phrase things around that and appreciate more of that, and you get more of that. But I love the rain too, and I love storms. It makes me tuned into energy, and that's possibly what you're picking up. You're picking up more of the negative side than what's good about collecting negative up. Okay, so it's just, nature does this all the time. Okay, so in the body, if we get a poison, if we have food poisoning, body goes, poison, we're going to push that one out, and it, you know, chucks it out, and you're thinking, I feel really bad, I feel really horrible, and this is really crap, and your body's churning, and you know, there is a storm effectively inside, and that was built up over time. There's suddenly this storm. That's great. It's getting rid of the toxins, it's getting rid of the rubbish, getting rid of the stuff that doesn't serve you, isn't any good for you. How wonderful is your body? That's amazing. Rather than it letting it linger around and get into your blood and then get into your other cells, because your blood's been feeding your other cells, you could have all that poison there. No, it's like push it all through. Okay, that's, you know, a good gloomy cloud is like that. Put all your worries up in that cloud, and then when it's blown away, you will feel a lot better. So for Angela, you know, you can really sense your vibration, and I hope you can use this video as a way to kind of reframe and shift your vibration about what's good about it being gloomy and glum. And certainly if you're planning a graduation party, hey, I mean, and I think that graduation parties happen now, but wouldn't you want it to be gloomy and glum when you're planning and preparing, and then the sun is really shining on the day of graduation? If you had to pick which way round it was, when the skies are grey, which one would you want to be? You'd want it to be sunny on your graduation day for your son, wouldn't you? So be careful on what you focus on, and be careful on what you choose. So if you focus on gloomy and glum, that's what you're going to get. If you go, oh, I appreciate the fact that the grey clouds are out today, they'll be gone by Sunday, you know, that's really positively looking at the situation. But as I've given you some other ideas as to how I kind of look at the weather, I'm sure other people have got some stuff as well. You know, all the old sayings about the weather are actually incredible, and they're really, really powerful. So I invite you to go and look them up. Let's share them in the Facebook group about the different weather comments and ideas about how to reframe them and what it means and how it can make you feel better, because really there's a lot of power within there, and there's lots of energy too. So let's shift that energy over to something positive. So that's it for today and for that comment. But I invite you to ask your comments today in the Facebook Masterclass group. Click on the link below if you haven't done so already, and we'll see you in there. Have a great day.